So today I'd like to talk about how to increase model efficiency and how to simplify our models in a way that gives us detail when we need it, but will um, reduce the detail when we don't require it for model speed. So if we have a top level assembly like this one, um, you can check the number of primitives or the number of, the detail of graphics that we see here. So this one has about 6 million primitives. And this will handle very comfortably in Onshape. It moves very well. It will load fast. But inevitably, as we work on larger projects, we'll get more and more primitives. So if I take an example like this larger automation machine, this one has over 30 million primitives. And um, as you get more and more detailed design and complexity, then models inevitably are going to take longer to load and be heavier to handle. So we want to try to keep the detail low when possible, and we want to keep the speed as high as possible. So how do we flexibly handle detail in our models so we can see the detail when we need it, only when we need it? So I'll give you an example of how to build this into our assembly structure. So if I go down one level, let's focus on the tire here. I'll go to the tire subassembly, and we can see here the primitives are about 2 million for this tire assembly. Um, um, I can go to configurations and create a table, and you can name this whatever makes sense for your team, but I'm going to call this detail. And for simplicity, let's go with just a high, medium, and low. Everybody understands a division of three, like traffic lights. Simple and intuitive for everybody to understand, but yet can break our complexity into three. Um, so, uh, so let's say for the highest level detail, we want to see every subassembly. Obviously, that's going to include all of them. But for the lowest level, maybe we just need the tire and the outer rim, and the medium somewhere in between these two. So um, either we can select the subassemblies one by one and configure them, or we could make, say, three folders and configure the entire folder. So we can have a high, medium, and low folder. And then you can just place the subassemblies that make sense into the folders. So anything that's of the lowest detail, like this right front wheel, should go in the low. Um, and let's say that's the only thing we want to have in low. And then maybe some of these other details like the barrel can be also shown at the medium. And then the vast majority of inner details can go in high. Okay, so we've divided our subassemblies up into the three categories, and now we can configure these, configure suppression of these three folders. So when we have high selected, we want to see all three folders. When we have medium selected, we don't want to see the high items. And when we have low, we only want to see the items in low. So if I switch to medium, some of the items will disappear. And I switch to low, only the basic form of the tire appears. And see the difference that it makes on the primitives. At the highest level, we have 2 million primitives. And then at the lowest one, we have 200,000. So we've reduced the complexity by 10. And essentially, um, let's suppose this will improve the loading speed and the handling efficiency of the subassembly by a factor of 10, just roughly. Not going to be exactly that, but you get the idea. This is much lighter weight than seeing the entire thing. Now we'll go back up to the top level, and the top level should be configured in a similar way. We should have a table called detail with similar structure, high, medium, and low. And we can put that right at the top. And if this becomes a convention on your team, everybody will know with every assembly, you get this structure built in and becomes like something that you naturally include within every assembly. So here, oh, I just need to version this tire and then pull that version up to the top level. So this tire that we created here now has a configuration within it. And if I right click and say change configuration, we can see that detail available to us here. We right click on that and configure the option here with this configuration at the top level. Then we can set the high, medium, and low at this top level to call the subassembly high, medium, or low. So when I set this to low, then this subassembly will simply show the tire and none of the inner details of the tire. So the point is that if this entire tree structure were configured in this way, as your team is building assemblies, they naturally include high, medium, and low detail in every subassembly. Then essentially switching on from high to low just at this top level would suddenly reduce the number of primitives. It may reduce by a factor of 10. So your model might load 10 times faster. It might be 10 times lighter to handle and move around at the low level. And then whenever you require the detail, you can just switch up to high. And by making that one choice, so in this particular assembly, there's 66 sub-assemblies inside. So you make one choice to medium, and that would ripple through the structure. And it would even ripple through all the inner assemblies, no matter how deeply those sub-assemblies are nested down below. If the entire structure had a consistent high, medium, and low throughout all, then by simply making one choice at the top level, all 66 sub-assemblies would configure with just one click. And suddenly your model would get 10 times lighter and faster to handle, move around and load. And then when you require more detail, you want to see something at high detail and you want to check out some sub-assembly, you can switch to whatever level of resolution you require. So the vast majority of the time, you're just kind of looking at it from a bird's eye view, and it'll be much more responsive. So it's just a tip to uh, engage your curiosity about ways to improve on shape efficiency. And I hope that helps your team.